All right, let's work with decimals and fractions some more. Today, as you saw in Mr. Walker's video, what we're doing is using metric measurements and area models to represent tenths as fractions greater than 1 in decimal numbers. Well, that sounds confusing, but it's not. We're just using mixed numbers is what we called it with fractions. We're going to have some wholes and we're going to have some fractions or decimals, okay? So the first thing says write the following as equivalent decimals. So I have 2 ones. Well, that just means I have 2. And I have 6 tenths. Well, we know that 6 tenths is decimal 6. 6 tenths would be 0.6, right? We learned yesterday 2 is that. So if we add 2 plus 0.6, we're going to get 2.6, okay? 4 ones and 2 tenths. 4 ones and 2 tenths. 4 and 0.2. If we add them together, we get 4.2. 3 and 4 tenths. Our whole number is 3. What does 4 tenths look like as a decimal? 4 in the tenths place. Okay? So that's super duper easy, isn't it? Okay, moving on. 2 and 5 tenths. 2 and 5 tenths. That would be 2 and a 5 in the tenths place, 2.5. 37 tenths. What did we do when we had an improper fraction? We have to decompose it, don't we? All right, we're going to decompose it. 37 tenths would be 10 tenths, 10 tenths, and 10 tenths, 10, 20, 30. We need 7 tenths more. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 7 tenths. So just decompose that fraction, make it a mixed number, which is 3. I have to write it as a decimal. And 7 tenths looks like that. Today's assignment's pretty short. I think you'll get through this just fine. Now, the second part of today's assignment might be a little trickier. How much more is needed to get to 5? We're trying to get to 5 from the fractions below. Write your answer as a decimal. Now, this is where it helps to use the area model, okay? So we've got to figure this out as tenths. So we're trying to get to 5 wholes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to make these boxes tenths, okay, which means I'm going to make 9 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Didn't make them small enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm dividing these into tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's kind of hard to see, but there we go. Now I've got 5 because we're trying to get to 5. Okay. And we've got 2 and 5 tenths. So 1 whole, this whole thing would be shaded in. There's 1 whole. 2 wholes. Shade that in. And now I've got 5 tenths of another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I have 2 and 5 tenths, how much more do I need to fill in all 5? Well, here's 1 whole. Here's 1 whole. And how many tenths is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 tenths more. So altogether, I have 1 whole, 2 wholes, and 5 tenths more. So to get all the way to 5, how much more would I need to fill in? I would need 2 5/10 more, but it says write your answer as a decimal. So 2 5/10 more would look like 2 5/10 more, just like we did up there. Okay, 2 5/10. So we have to write it as a decimal on this last part. Make sure you do that or it'll count it wrong, and so will I. All right, so the next one, we're still trying to get to 5. And we've got 37/10 filled in. We don't need to change it for this area model. So I'm going to make these a little bigger so they're easier to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got to make them tenths again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have to be patient watching this, don't you? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That takes a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I drew 9 lines because when you draw 9 lines, it divides them into tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So this time we've got how many tenths should we fill in? We've got to fill in 37/10. Now we can decompose that if we want to, or we can just fill in 37 of the tenths there. Either way you want to do it. If you did decompose 37/10, we had it up here, don't you remember? What's 37/10? It's 3 7/10. But I'm just going to fill them in. I'm just going to fill them in 37 times here. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, this may have been a long way to do it. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Did I get 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 37. Whew, you got to look carefully. All right, so there's 37/10 filled in, which is the same thing as 3 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tenths. But we're trying to get all the way to 5. Well, I still have one whole box to fill in, and how many tenths more? 1, 2, 3 tenths more. So I would write that 1 3/10, except remember, I've got to write my answer as a decimal. So 1 3/10 looks like 1 3/10. So that would be my answer. Okay. So the hardest part on today's assignment is the last two, using the area models to figure out how much more you would need to get to a number. Just draw your boxes like I did, and then figure out how many more blanks after you fill in the however many tenths you need to fill in. See how many blanks are still empty, and that would be how many you need to get to 5 or whatever your homework asks you to get to, okay? You can do it. I know you can. I'll let you get started.